جاءكم. Anybody have questions?
This is OS Columbia, Missouri. When you hear the adhan from the video that isn't live, would you say to drive a car along with it? Also, would you consider opening a second email channel just for questions?
A second what?
A second email or channel just for questions.
Bismillah. When you hear the recording of the adhan, should you make the recommended supplication or not? And would you consider opening up a second email just for questions? طيب. Whenever you hear the adhan, it's always a khair. Recording, live, the masjid is far, masjid is close, on the television screen, satellite. A woman is menstruating, a person is sick in the bed, a young child, you're going to the masjid, it's always khair, inshallah. And the adhan, as the Prophet ﷺ has informed us, is a means of banishing shaitan. When the adhan is called, the shaitan, he runs away, وَلَهُ duratun, and he passes wind, وَلِيَذُ بِاللَّهِ, not to hear the adhan. So the shaitan does not like to hear the adhan, and it's a means of kicking him out. Now, the hadith about calling the adhan or the iqama and or both in the baby's ear, the ulama of Islam, they differ on the hadith. Some say it's extremely weak, and some say the hadith hasan. Al-Muhim, the general concept of calling the adhan in the baby's ear, and that being the first thing that the baby hears outside of the womb, has to have some type of meaning to it, and some type of symbolicism to it. Everyone understand this? That's a very long discussion. Is it permissible to do something that's not based off of an authentic hadith, but it's generally supported? Al-Muhim. Just think about that. And just think how beautiful that is. Regardless of the hadith is sahih or not, ulama, they differ. The baby is born, you make the adhan in the baby's ear. You don't understand this? You make dua before you have intercourse with your wife, before the baby is conceived. It has to mean something. That's authentic, of course. It has to mean something. Giving the baby a symbolic name has to what? Has to mean something. Wahakada. Okay, etc. So the point is that the adhan is always good. Listening to it, hearing it is always what? Good. And if you repeat it after the muadhin, or you made the recommended supplication, inshallah khayrun bila shar, it's good without any bad. But it doesn't mean that the recorded adhan or the adhan on TV is what's meant by when you hear the adhan. The Prophet ﷺ says, إِذَا سَمِعْتُمُ, when you hear the nida, when you hear the muadhin, when you hear the adhan, the alif and the lam, the asl of the default is that's talking about the adhan that's in, that's live. Are you understand this? So that's my answer to the first question. Allah knows best. As far as the second question, would you mind opening up a second email just for questions? I don't really understand the question too much. There is an email service that we do provide via the website, and obviously the sisters and a few brothers are working hard, and they have been working hard and revamping the website and giving it a new face and updating it and making it, inshallah, professional. So whether the website is functioning now or when it's going to be ready, there is a tab to the email address in which you can personally contact us and send us questions or concerns or whatever you wish to say confidentially, not in the live stream, not in person, etc. That service has been going on now for like 3 years now, I believe, 4 years. Alhamdulillah, Nafis, he set it up. The email address is muftihadith@gmail.com. muftihadith, muftihadith@gmail.com. So I don't know if the person knows about this or not. If she's talking about making another email address or not, I'm not sure. But as of now, we do take questions, concerns via that email, and all other types of things come via that email. People need help, therapy, counseling, all types of things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He surely knows best.
Assalamu alaikum. Initials NH Toronto, Canada. Is it permissible to hold and recite from your phone in the salah, nawafil, and salah?
question comes from Toronto. Is it permissible to hold your phone and recite from your phone while you're making nawafil salah? Or fardu too? Or just nawafil? Both. Fardu and nafilah. طيب. Holding the phone is an example of basing the new and the modern off of the old and the classical. And we've said this many times before. There are many fiqh issues today, if not most of them, or many of them, if not most, which in actuality or in reality aren't really new. It's just a new package. But the product is pretty much the same, give or take a few details or specifications. Holding the phone and reciting from the phone in the salah is based off of the ruling of holding the mushaf in the salah. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. Similar. There are differences. The rulings of the mushaf don't necessarily apply to the cell phone 100%. Holding the phone without wudu, obviously in prayer you have to have wudu. But I'm just saying, holding the phone and reading from the phone. A non-Muslim, a menstruating woman, a junub person, putting it on the floor, etc. It's a bit different. Even though on your phone or your tablet is an application with the mushaf on it, or with the Quran on it, or with the Sahih Bukhari on it, or the Yad al-Salihin on it. So the new ruling is based off of the what? The old ruling. You understand this? So some of the Salaf al-Salih, they would do that. They would hold a mushaf. Some of them did it. Some of the Sahaba is quoted that they did it. So based off of that, la bas. But it doesn't necessarily mean they did it in the fard prayer. What do you need it for in the fard prayer? The only thing that you need in the fard prayer is one or two things. Either Surah Al-Fatiha and that's it, or according to some ulama, Surah Al-Fatiha and a small or short surah with it. So if the only surah you know is Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, that's sufficient. There's no need to go hold something, extra movements, etc. Night prayer, you would recite lengthy surah, longer surah, Baqarah, Ali Imran, etc. One thing, according to some of the ulama. And some of the ulama, they say you should suffice yourself with what you know. Suffice yourself with what you know and learn more. But inshallah ta'ala, the night prayer is different than the normal prayer. With regards to sitting down, with regards to not facing the qibla when you're traveling. No? Some of the ulama, some of the salaf would drink water. Taraweeh, break. That's what they call it. Taraweeh is a break. Some of them would drink water in the nafil prayer, as Ibn Rajab mentioned. So the nafil prayer and the night prayer is different than the daytime prayer, or the fard prayer, day or night. So therefore, if a person says that you can hold the mushaf, reciting at night, you can hold the phone, reciting in the nafil salah, but not the fard salah. Not the fard salah. Not the fard salah. If you're a new Muslim, learn the basic surahs. If you know the surahs, you know Juz Amma, there's no need. You want to recite a longer surah? Memorize a longer surah. Now, obviously, there's certain problems or certain things that have to be mentioned. If you're going to hold the phone, put it on airplane mode. You don't want to be reciting, huh? Nisa'ukum harthillah, all right, Abdul Qawi. And then you get a text message or a notification from Muslima.com. You don't want that in your salat. I can guarantee that you what? You may want that outside the salah, but not what? Not in the salah. Everyone understand this? Inshallah. Or a sports notification. The Eagles won the NFC East. You may curse yourself in the salah if you hear that news. Khalid wins throws for 4 touchdowns, right? 400 yards. You don't want that in the salah, right? So if you're going to hold your phone, at least put it in what? Airplane mode. Everyone understand this? Last but not least, the last piece of advice I would give is not only airplane mode, but have a tablet. And oftentimes, people that may say, Mufti, why you have so many tablets? You have this small tablet, this big tablet, this iPad, blah, blah. Well, you can do all that on your phone. The phone, to me, is more distracting. The phone is much more than just a phone. It's an office. Emails, text messages, personal issues, business bills, this and that, etc. Now, the phone, no one calls me on my iPad. You see what I'm saying to you? It's bigger, books. To me, this feels more like a what? A book, the tablet than the phone. So, no question. So me personally, if I was going to do it or I give you advice, I would say don't read from the phone, but read from the what? The tablet. Whatever, Samsung, whatever it may be. Now, Kindle, whatever it is. But if you read from your phone, based off of that fatwa about the Mus'haf, inshallah, Allah best. And Allah surely knows best.
MI, Ontario, Canada. No one offer their views. I find that when I'm around people, I often have evil thoughts of them and nobody yet. would it be reasonable or permissible to limit my interaction with others to only what's necessary in order to avoid this? Or is this no better than putting a band-aid on a broken leg? May Allah preserve my heart.
Tayyip. Question comes from Toronto again. When I'm around people, I often feel bad thoughts of them. I often feel bad thoughts of them. And or fear of riyah, negative feelings and things like this, etc. So is it best to limit my dealings with them? Or should I overcome it, etc., and not put a band-aid on a broken arm? May Allah preserve my heart. May Allah preserve your heart. Answer is no and yes, yes and no. Everyone's different. Everyone should not mix with everybody. Everyone doesn't have to be a super duper people person, social bug. But there are others who should, and who must, and who can. Can, should, and must. Everyone understand this? You have a public duty. You have to mix with people. You have a charisma with you. The ability to give advice. People love you naturally. That's one thing. Mix with people. Help people out. Now, sacrifice some of your own time and personal comfort for the benefit of others. But not everyone is like that. Some people are bad people. Some people are bad people. A bad people person, right? Some people don't mix well. Some people have a limit. They get angry. They get upset. They have bad akhlaq. They lose their temper. Nah? Okay? So, some people have powerful ayn. Some brothers have very strong eyes. Waliyadu billah. As soon as they see something, where you get that from? That's major. Oh, man. Next thing you know is what? Broken or gone. Or your throat has a big stain on it. So you need to limit yourself. You need to limit your dealings with people. Don't mix but so much with people. All right? So that's the yes part of the answer. And we all know that the ulama of Islam, they differ on what's best. Mixing with the people or extracting yourself from the people. That's number one. As far as the no part, then if you just remove yourself from the people and don't mix with the people, it can be a doorway to extremism. And it could be a landing or a launch pad for shaitan. And that's how the Sufis came into existence. Zuhud, taqashuf, ibadah, divorcing the dunya, avoiding the corrupt people, the politicians, this one, that one, which was a good thing, and it still is a good thing, but then it turned into something else. It snowballed. And now I don't busy myself with anything or with anybody. I don't get married, I don't have kids, I don't eat, I don't drink nothing. And I dance and I sing and I make this bid'ah. Now look. But it wasn't like that in the early generations. How Sufism started off in the beginning, tasawwuf, was a good thing. As Shaykh Hussain ibn Taymiyyah explains in Majmu' al-Fatawa in detail. So if you don't deal with the people, you cut yourself off from the people, you have no dealings with the people, absolutely, because of these bad thoughts and this feeling, it can lead to other problems. And there's an absolute limit. There has to be some minimum of dealing with people. If you don't deal with nobody, what are you going to do? You're going to get married or stay single? How do you work? How do you make money? Your parents, your children. You have to have some dealing with somebody. So there's going to have to be some jihad nafs that you have to make. There's going to have to be some type of cure, some ilaj that you have to ask Allah for and physically apply. So limit your dealings with the people, but at the same time, work on yourself. And do not remove yourself into a cave or a cove, a hole, and don't attempt to work on yourself, because the shaitan is going to come at you from another aspect. The shaitan is an enemy to you, and he's always an enemy to you. When you're by yourself and when you're with others. Rather, there's certain hadiths that teach us that the shaitan is closer to one than he is from what? A larger group. A larger group. The hadith that says, not necessarily the most authentic hadith, فَإِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُ الذِّئْبُ مِنَ الْغَنَمِ الْقَاسِيَةِ. The wolf eats what? The lone sheep. The sheep that's straying away from the rest of the flock. So what's important is 30% dealing with the people, 70% by yourself. Okay, labas. As long as you're not infringing on obligatory acts, compulsory acts. I've done my wajib, I've done my fard, I've given the people their haqq, now I don't want to be by myself. Tayyib, labas. But working on yourself and seeking knowledge and reading the Quran and making dua and not just allowing yourself to be picked off by shaitan. And Allah knows best.
Chester, PA. Assalamu alaikum, mufti. Hayakallah. Is it permissible to wear gemstones based on the month you were born? May Allah bless.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Barakallahu feek. Allah yahyikum. Question comes from Chester, PA. Is it permissible to wear gemstones based off of the month in which you were born? May Allah bless all the brothers and sisters. Hadith disciples there in Chester. Alhamdulillah, many good friends, good brothers, loyal students, associates there in Chester. May Allah bless them all. With regards to wearing a gemstone of your birthday, I would say no. Avoid it. If you want to wear a stone, a ring, or a necklace, obviously for a woman, a ruby, a diamond, an emerald, etc., la bas. If you want to wear a stone that's not that precious and that expensive, let it be in another month. I would not say wear it from the month that you're born, even if that's not your intention. It's a doorway to something else. And that's the asl of the culture. So if I'm born in July, and I'm saying, hypothetically, I want to wear a stone, I'll wear one of January. Nothing in July or the summer, because it's just too close to that. Everyone understand this? Is it permissible to wear a gemstone? That's another important question. Okay? A stone that's a stone, or a stone that has some type of belief behind it, connected to astrology. That's problematic. That's what? That's problematic. But I'm not saying it's haram, because there are many things, as we say this all the time, that we do, daily practices, which are based off of culture of shirk. Alright? Me and Ustad Zakaria, we were eating dinner one night, and he pulled out a wallet to pay for the food. He wouldn't let me pay. And he had a Wagner wallet. Also the brothers in the UK, Nuruddin in Birmingham, yeah? He had a Wagner shoulder bag. And obviously, anybody who knows Wagner, he knows it has what on it, Khalid? Crucifixes, full of crosses. Many brothers have suitcases like this. I didn't say nothing to Nuruddin in Birmingham, because I thought he might refute me. It is Birmingham after all. Let's not forget that, right? It is what? It is Birmingham. So he pulled out the wallet, and when we got in the car, I said, Zakaria, I said, that's a nice cross on your wallet. So, I came right at him. He starts laughing. He's like, Astihala ya Sheikh, al-istihala. He's saying basically that there's a ruling called al-istihala. It's khamar, bananas, vinegar. It's morphed into something else. It's no longer the original what? The original ruling. That people wore a crucifix or wore a cross for a religious purpose, but it doesn't mean that that's the people wearing it in 2018 on a wallet or on a knife, Swiss Army knife. Like Red Cross. Red Cross has become a symbol for what? Charity, or a first aid kit has a what on it? Cross. It's not necessarily a religious symbol. It's not necessarily what? So that was his rationale. And that was a good answer that he gave. I didn't say I agree with him 100%, it was a good answer. It was a good answer. So then we start discussing other things. This is the highlighting point of my question about the gemstone. And I gave him a fa'idah with regards to a proof that he could have used too as well to counter me. I said, well, instead of saying istihala, you could have mentioned Bluetooth. He said, what about Bluetooth? What are you talking about? What spooky, Sufi stuff you talking about now, Sheikh? I said, you don't know about Bluetooth? So I started telling him some things, as if he didn't believe me. So I went to Wikipedia, Google, and I started reading the history of Bluetooth and where Bluetooth comes from. And have you ever asked yourself, what is that symbol? What does that mean? What is that? The Wi-Fi signal is clear. Airplane mode signal is clear. Podcast thingy, lock, all these symbols are what? They're clear. But what is a Bluetooth symbol? What is that? And where does that come from? Why does it look so strange and peculiar in light of the rest of the media symbols? You ever ask yourself the question? There's a sign for play, stop, forward, pause, repeat, loop. Clear, tangible. What is a Bluetooth symbol? And where does it come from? And why does it look? Doesn't it look strange in light of everything else? The shape is not like the other shapes. So I started reading him some things of Bluetooth, and he was shocked. He's like, wow. And I said, Bluetooth, and I'm not going to give you everything right now. And back in those days, no question, was shirk. Everything about that symbol is shirk, polytheism. It's a rune. It's a combination of two ancient Norse or Nordic runes put together from King Harold, who had a blue tooth or dark tooth. And the people who invented Bluetooth in the late 90s, Sony Ericsson. You take out Sony Ericsson, the son of Eric. Going back to Nordish or Norse or Danish Vikings. They honored the name of their forefather. They honored the name of their ancestry, the son of Eric. And they made the sign and the signal for Bluetooth, that king, who was a mushrik. And he used these two runes for shirk, divination, and discovering the future and seeking out the unseen. So I said, everyone today uses Bluetooth. But no one says haram to use it, and the rune is clearly on your phone, on your tablet. Just like a crucifix, and which a person has on his wallet or his knife, which is not necessarily his belief or aqidah. Everyone understand the point I'm trying to get to? I don't like things with crosses on them. If I have a Swiss Army knife, I remove it. And I think that some of those brands, they make some of the finest things. Wagner and Victorinox and those things, but I don't like that crucifix or nothing that I have in my pocket or my neck or a knife or nothing. I don't like that. But to say that it's absolutely haram, Zakaria may be right. Because it's not a religious symbol for you, just like the Bluetooth isn't a what? A religious symbol. Inshallah, everyone can Google it or wiki it, whatever, and you read the shirk origin of Bluetooth and how it is blatantly a symbol of polytheism on your tablet and your smartphone. You ever asked yourself that question, Mukhtar? And what is a blue tooth? He had a decaying tooth that was dark or blue. And obviously the religion of those people was nothing more than shirk and kufr. Everyone understand this? So that's the origin and the history of that. So if you say that it's haram to have a gemstone, on your birthday, etc., then there are many, many other things as well. You're going to have to say, what? Haram. Now, I'm not trying to spread no doubts. Or as Alameen says, shubuhat, he mixes the truth with the falsehood. We're just quoting facts. That's it. And factual information never needs an apology. Don't ever forget that. You never need to apologize for what? Quoting facts. Everyone understand this? And there are many, many other things that are issues of polytheism, astrology, and superstition that's in our daily lives, from the breakfast that you eat to the dessert that you enjoy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. And there's another reason why we don't say Nike's haram. And Allah knows best. Inshallah, we'll stop here tonight. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina Muhammad.